Gina, everything's changed in the last 10 days. Everything seems to have changed in terms of diplomacy over the last 24 hours. What is Biden hoping to achieve by going to Israel?
First and foremost, Biden needs to de-escalate this conflict. The hospital blast overnight is devastating in humanitarian terms, and the fact that it's unattributed is problematic, of course, but it underscores the extent to which innocent civilians are caught up in this conflict. And what the U.S. does not want is widening internationalization of the conflict at the same time as we have a war in Ukraine.
How, Tina, will he be able actually to de-escalate these extremely high tensions?
It's probably the biggest challenge of his presidency to do so. The stakes are incredibly high from a geopolitical perspective. Emotions are running high, and that pours gasoline on the flames. It's going to take all of his diplomatic efforts. Biden, of course, has been in high office for decades, but his relationship with Netanyahu has always been strained. And he's working with Arab governments who are mistrustful of the role of the United States. And the fact that King Abdullah of Jordan canceled the summit is evidence of that. That's an extraordinary move for a Middle Eastern partner of the United States to take.
You know, we also heard from the Egyptian president, Mr. El-Sisi, saying he was talking about moving Palestinians to Sinai, saying it makes it a base for opposition. And actually, he's, for the moment, said that that's not something that he's really considering. If you look at some of the key allies or key countries that the U.S. needs on side, where do you put China? Where do you put Egypt? Where do you put Saudi?
So this is really important because remember when China had a role in brokering the normalization pact between Saudi Arabia and Iran, we had a lot of news flow about China's role in the Middle East. Well, we have since heard barely a squeak out of Beijing, apart from fairly tepid condemnation or criticism of Hamas. We see that as much as the United States has tried to wind down or, reduce its role in the Middle East, it keeps getting pulled back. As you mentioned, El-Sisi, the Egyptians, they don't want to take the Palestinians. Jordan already has its own share of this. So there are very few options apart from de-escalation and some sort of ceasefire.
And Beata,